I won't have such a long story as I heard, which was very interesting from my standpoint, because 73 years ago, I was only 13, and I did not know things which I learned later, which is one of it is my family was a recipient of the Sousa Mendes allowance to go to Portugal. But let me tell you a little bit about myself. I was born in Paris on a bourgeois Jewish family, and as early as 1934, my father felt things were going badly and started to amass funds in the US. So as early as 1935, he realized that we were going to possibly have to move. He was in the diamond business, selling diamonds in New York from Belgium and Paris, so that he was able to do that. So whenever he sold in New York, he said, leave the money there. So 1939 came. We went to our normal vacation in Switzerland, and the war was declared. And he said, we do not go back to Paris. In 1914-18, World War I, things were very bad there. We moved to the middle of France. We did. But then, the house that we were renting got very crowded because of aunts and uncles that were moving in from there, from Holland and Belgium. We moved further down to a town by the name of Cahors, which is in the southern part of France. Good wine. And so in 1940, he was able to get the visa from Aristides. And we immediately went on to the frontier on the Atlantic side of the frontier, which is Hendaye, on the northwest end of the frontier. And there, my father, who was 44 years old, was denied exit by the French because French men could be drafted up to age 45. He had been in both World War I and World War II and discharged, but then the French said, no, you can't. You can still be drafted. So my mother and my father decided to stick together and to go back to Cahors, really into an unknown time, because he knew things were very bad. And anyway, that's what you. Me as a child, we were well protected. I really did not understand nor know really what was going on. And probably the same thing which you do with many of your children. You protect them from the bad things. So, my father, quote, lost the passports and had to get new passports, and he went to Marseille instead of Bordeaux, because Bordeaux was no longer accessible, and to get the Spanish consul and the American consul to agree to give us passage. And neither one of them wanted to sign without the other one having signed. So one day he took them both out to lunch, and I understand, and I don't know what happened at lunch. He never would tell me. We got the signature of both of them, and we were able to go out through Spain to Barcelona to embark on a boat for the US. So that's what happened. That's why I'm here today. And I feel that my aunts and uncles who did use the passport with Aristides had come a year earlier from us here into the US, and we all ended up in New York. And I lived in Brooklyn. Anyway, we left Barcelona on a Spanish boat. We then went through the Straits of Gibraltar, was stopped by the British. The boat was inspected for any German soldiers or anything like that, because it was war. And then we went around up to Lisbon to pick up some more refugees. And that is the time which I stepped into Portugal, and we spent the day visiting Lisbon. I remember climbing up high. As a 13-year-old, that's all I remember. It was a very beautiful city. Then from there we went in total darkness at night, because we were afraid of U-boats, to the Azores to refuel. And then from there, 20 days later, after leaving Barcelona, we landed in Brooklyn. That's where I'm here. That's really the story of a person that made it, and I'm very thankful.
And now we'll have the co-founder of the International Committee to